Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you're watching this, and we're glad that you are. We've got a couple things coming up tonight, don't we? We've got the meal is happening tonight. Not dine in, but carry out and delivery. And then the camp people from the conference are going to be here tonight at 7. So we invite you to come and hear all about camp and to have all your questions answered. Brian Johnson from the conference will be here, and I love Brian. Do you know Brian?
I do, a little bit, but yeah. He seems like a good guy.
He's a great guy. Perfect person to have in charge of the camps.
Oh, good.
So one of the things that I need to ask you, Jordan, do you like rules?
No.
I kind of knew the answer to that before I asked. Yeah, you're not one for rules, right?
I'm not one for rules, but I do follow them.
Okay. And why do I bring that up? Well, one of the promises, and we're in promises for Lent, is one of the promises that God gives us is a promise of community, to be with one another, right? But we also know that community does not go well without rules. Without rules, there's chaos and people get hurt. What kind of rules did you have in your house? Most families have rules. One of my father's biggest rules was when the street lights come on, you better be in the house.
Man, now I can't think of any of them. Oh, no food in the living room. No food or drink past the carpet.
Yeah.
But I always risked it.
Or another big rule in a lot of families, if it's on your plate, you better eat it. Right?
I also wasn't supposed to color on the walls or any of those things. I had a lot of rules.
And a lot of the rules we have are unwritten, right? Like coloring on the walls. Your parents probably didn't have a list of rules, right, that you had to follow. Church has a lot of unwritten rules that we follow to maintain ourselves as a community. One of the unwritten rules is thou shalt not sit in the front pew unless it's Easter and every place else is taken up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But as God gives us that promise of community, God also gives us a set of rules to help us out in having a healthy community. And one of this week's lectionary readings is out of Exodus, where we list 10 rules that God gives us to maintain our community. But sometimes we don't do well with our rules. These 10 rules that God gives early in the Old Testament are really simple rules.
Yeah.
And Jesus even makes them more simple by taking those 10 and taking it down to 2, right?
Yeah.
So what are those 2 rules?
I don't know, Erling. What are they?
Love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and mind and strength, right? Which comes out to the first 4 of the commandments that, love the Lord your God, worship no other God beside me, right? And then the second is love your neighbor as yourself. Don't murder, don't covet, don't steal, don't lie, honor one another. Right? But in the end, as God also tells us, those rules are really not to be written down anywhere. Those rules are not to be on the wall of a courthouse like we like to talk about. But for those rules to work, they've got to be inside here. Yeah. Right? They got to be part of who you are, your heart and soul. And that's when the rules work. That's when the rules make us a community that loves and cares and can sustain itself. Right? The rules aren't there to be seen. But the rules are really God's love and grace for us. God's guidance for us. And then we can be a community that mimics God in this world here and now. So peace.